Hi everyone, welcome back. Today on my channel, we're going to be using my bread machine to make a cranberry whole wheat bread. So I'm using some whole wheat flour. And the recipe is coming out of the Betty Crocker Best Bread Machine Cookbook. I've used this one before. I think I showed it on a different recipe I did. And it is dated 1999 copyright. Got it from a thrift store. I love getting my cookbooks from thrift stores. So today that's going to be the recipe, cranberry whole wheat bread. And if you are new here to my channel, I do a lot of baking breads in my bread machine. I also bake some cakes in here. You can do jams in here and make all kinds of different delicious rolls and doughs and things out of a bread machine. I also do different desserts, some crock pot dinners, more of an easy casseroles and things like that. And maybe a little bit of home decorating mixed in. So if that sounds like something that you would like, I hope you hit that red subscribe button and subscribe to me. And always give me a thumbs up and hit the bell icon so you're notified of every video that I upload. Okay? So let's get right into making our cranberry whole wheat bread. Okay, so to the pan first, we're going to add our water, and it is 3/4 cup. It's at room temperature. Already had it measured out. We're going to be adding about a tablespoon of butter, and it is softened. And to that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. This honey never wants to come out, so let's just take the lid off. I'm about out of it anyway. Whoops, runaway lid. And I think there's probably just about 2 tablespoons in here. If I could just dump it in there without measuring. This honey is in place of your sugar that you would put in a recipe. And honey's supposed to be better for you, I guess. That's what I've heard. But looks like we're going to have exactly 2 tablespoons that was left in here. Now, to get this out of here without making a mess, I need to get a little spoon. So there's our 2 tablespoons of honey. That's a mess. I'm going to throw this in the sink real quick. We don't want to mess with that. Getting it all sticky all over. Like I just got sticky syrup on or honey on my countertop. Put it in there. Okay. So we got our water, our honey, our butter. And we're doing 1 teaspoon of salt. Just kind of going to eyeball it in my hand there. And it calls for 1/4 teaspoon of ground mace. I don't have mace. I've never used mace. They say it's on the little bit of a sweeter side than nutmeg. It's very similar to nutmeg, or it's something to do with nutmeg. I'm not quite sure, but it's something to do with nutmeg. But it's on it just a touch sweeter than nutmeg, and maybe has a little bit of a more of a nuttier flavor. But I don't have it. I was reading in place of mace, you can use cinnamon, or you can use like an allspice, or you can use nutmeg. I'm going to use the allspice. I'm going to just put a little bit of that in there. It says 1/4 teaspoon of mace, so I will go with not quite 1/4 teaspoon of this, because I think I'm going to do about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Just a touch. I don't want it to be overpowering. Okay, so we have our water, our honey, our butter, our salt, and our allspice. To that, we're going to add our bread flour. Now, we are using bread flour and wheat flour, Oh, and something the recipe didn't have on it was vanilla. I'm going to use just a splash of vanilla. Just a little bit. If I can use this vanilla in everything, I would use it in everything. It's that good. Okay. So first we're going to put our bread flour in. The bread flour is 1 1/4 cups. That was 1 1/4. And then it calls for 3/4 cup of whole wheat flour. So I'm just going to use my fourths. 1, 2, and 3. And I hope you all are doing good out there, having a good week. I am. I've got my patio resituated and cleaned off, and I'll be uploading that video very soon. That video will probably be already up before I put this video up. So hope you sit back and watch that one too. Okay, so the last ingredient we're going to do is our bread machine yeast, and it's 1 1/4 teaspoons. Here's my 1 1/4. Maybe just a touch more. I didn't think that was totally full on my fourth. Okay, so we're going to pop this into our machine, and the dried cranberries we're going to be using, we won't add those until my machine has a add cycle, which it'll beep at you, and that's where you add your nuts and your chocolate chips or fruit or whatever like that you want to add to your breads. When I made my chocolate chip, was it chocolate chip banana bread, I think? You'll have to look up that recipe. That was delicious. And I just added all my chocolate chips and everything. And so they didn't quite mix throughout the bread like I would have liked them to. And then I read my machine. I haven't had this a real long time. You can watch the unboxing on this too. I have that video listed. So I had to go back and read it. And I was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to put those in later. But it still turned out very delicious. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. This does only make a 1-pound recipe. If I ate a 2-pound loaf of bread with everything, all the breads I make, it wouldn't be good. Because I do love bread. But, you got to kind of watch that. So we're going to turn it on. And I'm going to choose the white cycle. And I'm going to choose my crust as light. And there we go. Okay. What I was going to make, which I still will, but I don't have the dried blueberries. There's a cranberry blueberry white bread recipe that looks really good in here. But it calls for, obviously, some dried blueberries, and I don't have those. I have fresh, but I have dried apples out before for one of my bread recipes that I have linked or that I have in my videos. You'll have to look that one up. I'm not sure how to link stuff yet. I'm new to this on the YouTube page, so I'll have to look into how to do that because a lot of people just put their other videos in the description box that that if you want to link. But I do have all mine on playlists. Like all my bread machine recipes are separate from my home decorating recipes. Cuckoo. All my home decorating videos, and then I have like desserts. There are another playlist on there, and quick dinners or easy dinners, I think it says. And I'm trying to remember the other one. I think it says fun stuff, like I have stuff like making homemade Play-Doh and doing some different things like in the kitchen with your kids or your grandkids. So you'll have to check out my playlist too. And then you'll have all my videos. So we're going to let this go. This says 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I'll meet you back here. I'll meet you back when I have to add the cranberries. Okay? So see you then. Okay, the add in button is going off. I don't know if you can see that. It says add in right there. It's flashing. So I'm going to add those in. Very interesting. And very loud. I think it's getting them added in. There's a couple lonely ones down in there at the bottom I hear twisting around. Okay, so the timer just went off and it smells wonderful as usual. Nothing better than fresh baked bread smell. So I got to get a hot pad here and dump it out on the tray. Probably should have did 2 hot pads. Shake it out. There it comes. Ooh. Yowza, this pan is hot. So let me turn it over. She looks pretty. Some of the cranberries peeking out there. 1 little pound loaf. The crust is very pretty. I like it. Okay, so you know the drill. We're going to try to let it cool off, and then we'll be back to slice it, and I will taste it. She's very pretty. Okay, so it's fully cooled off. We're going to cut the heel or the end. Ooh, look how soft. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's cut us a piece. This is going to be so good in the morning for my breakfast. Okay. Smells good. It's got the cranberries there. It's totally cooled off. I did wait. I'm going to get me a bite with cranberries. I was supposed to put 1/4 of a cup. So I would have liked a few more cranberries. Actually, did it call for 1/2 a cup? No, it called for 1/4 of a cup. But I think I barely had that. But I think I might even bump that up. I think I had 1/4 of a cup. I can smell the allspice a little bit. Let's see if I can taste it. Those cranberries are so good. Gives a little bit of sweetness to the bread. And I can taste the allspice. I got a little bit of cinnamon. I taste maybe a little bit of nutmeg in there. It's really good. And it'd be really good for my breakfast, I think. Those cranberries are freeze-dried and hang on. The great value. The cranberries are dried cranberries. They're not freeze-dried. They're dried cranberries, and they're the great value in the bag, and they are very delicious. So I would advise, if you wanted to get some cranberries, that brand. It's cheaper and it's very good. So I hope you try this recipe at home in your bread maker. And if you do, leave me a comment. Tell me how it turned out. And if you added any different spices, I'd like to know that too. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye.